6 months ago, everything changed. It was the eve of my 43rd birthday, and it was another Saturday, which up until then was a rugby day. We were playing an away game in Sarnia. I was looking forward to line dancing that evening with my teammates and then heading to the spa the next day. This is a team we typically beat, but something was off that day. Maybe it was their 30-girl roster and us missing some key players. But as a scrum half, I knew in the second half we needed to pick up our game. I did not want to lose a game on my birthday. It was early in the second half, and a girl had the ball, and I knew I needed to make this tackle. I went low, and then I remember getting hit on my head and thinking, this is the hardest hit I've ever felt. Apparently, she kneed me, which explained a lot. But when I hit the ground, I knew something was wrong because I couldn't feel my hands. I was terrified and started screaming. And in that moment, I thought, this can't be how it ends. Then it was a rush of medics, teammates, coaches coming over, asking me how I was, doing all the tests on me. They had to call an ambulance, and they put a neck brace on me and put me on a stretcher, and I was off to the hospital. And in that moment, I knew my career as a rugby player was over. I knew I wanted to retire from playing, but I wanted to do it on my own terms. I guess the universe had other plans for me. In the hospital, they did a CT scan, an MRI, and found out that I had 2 herniated discs that were pressing against my spine. They had to put another neck brace on me, and they sent me to another hospital, which was in London, because they couldn't handle this type of trauma. When I got to the other hospital, they were talking to me about needing surgery. But my symptoms were so mild that they wanted to keep me to monitor to see if I was going to get better. At that time, I was able to move my arms again, but it was still difficult. I didn't have full motion and I didn't have full strength. This is when I learned that I had a condition called a spinal cord signal change to my C4 and C5, and that this has always been there. So maybe years of playing rugby, that season I played football, and my age have all contributed to this. But this had nothing to do with my arms because that was my C6. So we paused on surgery because they couldn't know if the pressure from my C4 and C5 was actually causing issues with my C6. And because I was slowly getting better, the surgeon said the 1% chance of this doing nothing and potentially paralyzing me was not worth it. So for the last 6 months, it's been a slow road to recovery. Not gonna lie, anxiety has been something I've been having to deal with, and trying to take it easy, which for someone like me is not easy to do. But it has allowed me to step back, reflect, and look at what's next for me, which has brought me to creating this podcast. I initially started the podcast as something as part of my healing journey. My first guests that you'll get to experience are para-athletes and para-Olympians with spinal cord injuries. I wanted to hear their story from trauma to reinvention to gold medals. I felt I could relate to them and they could understand me and where I was coming from. Do Her Thing podcast is my space to be creative, curious, and explore themes of healing, identity, and reinvention, and what it means to be on the other side from individuals who have done it. So get ready. This is only the beginning.